episode of our webinar. I've got a very special guest here, Nick. Nick, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I get to be with the esteemed Rough Cut Garage owner and operator, man, and I've been looking forward to this. I remember when we first got you going. I think in our like intro call together, I was like, Nick, I think I'm going to get you on our podcast thing that we
Yeah,
do, man. I think we're going to
I
do
do.
it because some
I do
people just
remember
have
that.
energy. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like you just have energy, man. I think it's like one of the more like underrated things people don't think about when they want to start up any kind of business, and it really stands out, I think, in the mechanic world. Is like most guys I talk to, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of guys I talk to, they have like, they're very serious, and they know their tools and they want to fix cars, but they want to do it for themselves. Um and not I would say not too many people are like laid back about it, super outgoing about it. Like, of
Mhm.
course, you have different personalities, but I feel like your personality is really well suited to attract people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, most of my customers they turn into like friends. They
Exactly. So I'm
some
saying,
some don't
yeah.
even reach out to talk cars. I get Facebook messages that are just reels from a lot of my customers. It's I have that, like you said, personality where I'll talk to just about anybody and just chat. I have customers
Yeah.
that'll hang out for like an hour after I fix their car, just talking. And
Yeah.
it's like, I do have another car I got to get to, but I don't, you know, I have a very talkative personality. My wife gets frustrated sometimes at like the grocery stores where I'll end up
Oh
talking to somebody
yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny, man. My stepdad was exactly that way. I gotta say, like I could you almost need to put in like a little lounge for your customers, man. Just yeah, you know what? Hey Bill, I love talking to you. I gotta be working on this while I talk to you though. You just sit down, have a beer,
Yeah.
dude, watch
Yeah.
TV. I'll
Do
talk
your
to you,
thing. Well,
but I gotta get going.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much where I am right now. This room actually was just the kids call it the cave.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but then it kind of transformed into exactly what we are talking about. Like, yeah, I love talking to you, bud, but if you want to go have a seat in the cave, like I'll get your car buttoned up and we can chat after.
That's too funny. Too funny. Well, that's really what I wanted to jump into because we got you going. You were talking about how hey, it's just taking me too long to like do all this back end stuff. Like I just want to fix cars and not worry about the rest of it, right? That was
Yep.
more or less the conversation that we had. So actually, like I do with all the guests that we have on, I'd like to kind of know, a where you got into fixing cars. Like, was it always something you enjoyed doing? Was it something you picked up later? And when did you decide, hey, I want to actually make this like a business and do it for work? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like I started working on cars back in high school. I did the automotive uh, class through the tech center, and then
Hmm.
from there went down to like Universal Technical Institute in the Boston area. Did cars for God, let's see. After school, went to BMW, became a BMW certified mechanic. Jumped from there because I didn't like management, and then went to Subaru. Did that for 2 years. Again, not big on big corporate working. Went to an independent garage, which was awesome. I loved working in the independent world. Did some work with him for about 5 years. Got into a union as a union mechanic,
Oh
um,
yeah.
and then just the passion left. Fixing
Mm,
stuff it just kind of drained you. Where I used to go home, work on cars with friends and stuff like that. You lose that. So I
mm.
I jumped ship on doing mechanic work. Went into line work for a while, and then left that because that was talk about being taxing on a family. You're never home. And
Right.
then started this, but this was kind of a thing before I did the line work. I had like a tire machine, toolbox here, did it randomly, and then it kind of turned into like customers started rolling in where like mouth of word started happening, and then it got a little bit bigger, and then it got a little bit bigger, and then I blew a wall out of my garage and had a second bay going, and
Nice.
then it turned into like I ended up with an LLC and I was doing more and more work, um, And then what it turned into is I couldn't handle the scheduling. Ordering parts was a pain. Keeping track of the parts that I ordered. It was just everything was handwritten. It was a mess.
Mm,
It just was. And I like, and then it even like customer vehicles where they call you up and be like, "Hey, remember when you did this?" And it's like,
right.
well, let me. I don't remember. I have nothing on that.
Yeah.
It was so much chaos
Right.
that something had to change, and that's why I'm here with you, bud.
Yeah.
It was absolute madness.
I remember those conversations, right? It was like, when you're seeing the software, we see this quite a bit when we talk to guys who are in your exact same situation. Hey, I've been doing this for the longest time. Basically, even the last guy we had on, we were talking to him about it. He was using those Walmart, paper slips that you use,
Yep.
and just like you said, guy calls you, hey, you remember doing this? No, I don't remember doing this. Hey, what are our numbers at the end of the week? Okay, I got to go down and sit down and add all the math with a calculator. Hey,
Yep.
are we charging the right amount of money for this? Yeah, I think so. Like it's just we find those inconsistencies for sure. But what I want to
Hmm.
focus on is you're a guy who actually did kind of jump and make that step with us. He trusted Shop Boss, and usually I don't like to make these conversations about how amazing Shop Boss is. I like him to kind of be organic, but I do want to take advantage of it because you sent me a bunch of texts after you started with Shop Boss, which made me feel good inside. Anytime I get texts like that, um, just how much like better did you find? And don't blow smoke. Like I want everyone to know, like this wasn't really
Huh.
pre-planned. Like this is all legit. Like how much better was life in general after jumping onto the Shop Boss?
Man, in all honesty, it took the headache out of a lot of things. I actually still brag about it. Like when my like friends or family come over, I'm like, check this out. I was like, this is awesome.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everything's right here. I can show you exactly what my profit per hour is on every job or just as a whole. I can show you like all of my parts that I've ordered, and if I need to use that part again, it's right there.
Mhm.
I just type it in. It just organized my entire system. Like it was awesome. I can't
That's
even
awesome,
really
man.
explain it. It's, I mean, as far as like being able to log back in and see what I did on a customer's vehicle.
Yep.
And then the big thing was parts. Parts is huge. When I go to order parts and I go into parts tech, it just moves the car over for me. There's not another tab going. It
Hmm.
transfers the whole thing over. I can order it. It does the markup for me. I don't have to do math and look at like, how much should I charge for this part? How much should I charge for that part? Not that I like marking up parts and stuff on customers, but it leveled the playing field where I didn't have to break out my phone. I didn't have to break out a piece of paper. I didn't have to look at this. I didn't have to look at that. Everything was simplified.
Well,
And
tell
if
me
I,
about that. Tell me about because so my background is I used to work Chrysler corporate like you were talking, and you know how the corporate world goes, right? Basically,
Mhm.
all I did was my job was to keep police departments with Dodge and not go to Ford. So all I
Okay.
did was basically warranty this, warranty that. This is out of warranty. Can you help us out? That kind of thing. But the point
Mhm.
is like just all the you're everyone's answering to somebody in that world. But I never actually was on the ground with writing up tickets and kind of I was talking to those guys, but I wasn't them. So when
Mhm.
you're talking about that headache that you had with parts specifically, like what are some issues like specifically? Like give me some examples of what that's like if you don't have something set in place. I mean, you said a second ago, like phone calculator. Like, how long did that all take you? That whole process?
It really depended on the part, because you're
Yeah.
you're not only just trying to figure out what the part costs you, but like kind of what the customer could get the part for, and then you had to compare different vendors and be like, well, where can I get it for cheaper? And then worry about the markup itself and being consistent. And
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to just go and add, 20, 30, 40, 50% and then be like, well, that marks it up X amount
Right.
and then it changed and then the next time you go to do it you got to remember what you marked that part up at. It was just
Ah, okay.
it was so taxing. It took forever to where like I couldn't do more than two customers in a night because I do this on like after a full-time job, and
Right.
it has made it a breeze as far as getting customers their quotes on their parts quickly, effectively. Like, it just, they could send me, be like, "Hey, I'm looking for an oil change and, XYZ." So I can go in with their information, type it all in. It pulls it to the RO
Mhm.
and then just gives me a quote total. And it takes
Mhm.
me 5 minutes at
Saves a
best, not
ton of
even.
time, man. Yeah, you
Uh,
actually said it a second ago. Like you said, you used to only be able to get 2 cars in a night. Like, what are you at now?
so I've had as many as 5 to 6 cars in a night, and that's,
Dude, you're
you know,
pushing cars out, dude. You ain't messing
yeah,
around.
constant. It's been the last 4 to 5 months, and that actually kind of lines up with this system. Is it has gone insane as far as customers coming in, because I can send them a quote right straight to their phone, and they can look at it, approve it, and I'm back out in the shop and I'm working. I'm not worried about it because it actually sends me a text on my phone that says the customer has approved this,
Mhm.
and I can get right back to work. I don't have to, sit down, call them. I don't have to do any of it.
Yeah,
All of the
I know
legwork.
all that
It's
stuff.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's like I have two more people working for me right now, and I'm doing it myself.
It's a good way of
So,
putting it, actually. It's a really good way of putting it. Um, so what is your average ticket? Do you know what your average ticket is, Nick?
I mean, I could look it up
You
on
can
the
find out at
system.
Shop Boss. Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly,
can.
exactly.
I can average ticket. Kind of depends so far, like the season. The season's just now changing, but I'd say my average ticket is anywhere between, like, I want to low it at about 100, and that's like oil change and a tire rotation. But then it'll go
Right.
up to, suspension and brakes. It'll be, 12 to $1,500 just for that one ticket. So I'd
Mm,
I'd average it somewhere in the middle of like $700 a ticket.
700. That's a that's a healthy average RO, man.
It is, and
Right
I say,
on.
well, we're in northern Vermont, so cars need a lot of work up here. The roads are worse than the cars.
Vermont, is that the white Christmas state? It is, isn't it?
White Chris, well, it was this year, not
No, no, the
always.
movie, the White Christmas.
Oh,
You ever seen White Christmas, the movie, where they go to Vermont and
man,
it's dude, come on, man.
you think,
We gotta
hey,
get you
listen,
going
you
on your
think I got
Christmas
time to
movies,
watch
bro.
movies?
Yeah, well, I
I don't
mean, if
have time.
you well, you need to get the next Shop Boss package, and maybe you will have
That's,
more time
yeah,
to watch.
yeah, right, yeah,
No,
and,
I'm
and
kidding.
two to three
Man.
more mechanics working for me.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You said you have you have some kids, man. They can get working on
Yeah,
cars, dude.
well, I got one of my daughters is very interested in the automotive world. The other one's not so
There you
much.
go. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be yeah. Well, fair enough.
Yep.
So the reason I brought that up was so you're saying you might see in a day on average. I don't you've seen 6 or 7 cars a day. But what's your average? Like how many cars on average would you say? Let's push it. Let's do maybe days a bit tougher, but like in a week roughly, would you say give or take?
Well, let's see. So we'll think back to last week. Throughout the week, not including the weekend, I probably saw 10 cars come through the shop, and then the
Right on.
weekend you can add another 8 to 10 cars. I'll
That's
do
really
that.
when you're getting going. Yeah.
That's when I can do a full day, and that's when I move some cars around. Is on Saturday, where and that's seems to work out good for my customers because most people have the day off and they don't have to schedule around it. And my
Yeah.
weekends are
No,
usually pretty busy.
100%. So would you say Shop Bosses has more or less gotten you like double the amount of cars a week you can handle? Would you say
Yeah,
with
and
time savings?
yes, because I can schedule it, right? Like I can actually plan, and I can have parts and quotes sent out, and then plan the customer to be there on a certain day or a night. Um, that was something I couldn't really do on my own. I didn't have a way to organize any of that.
Yeah.
It's improved my ability to take on workloads, and I can actually look up labor times
Mhm.
and know how long that job's going to take me, versus like
Right.
before I had to go in and use, I think I was using O'Reilly's website.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they have that. Yeah, with the
yeah, and
an upgraded
you
version or something. Yeah.
yeah, so you could go in and you could find the labor times while you're
Yeah.
ordering the parts. And I
Yeah.
mean, it was useful,
Yep.
but it was also at the same time, if you backed out, you were done. There was no really
Right.
getting back to it. But it was helpful, first firing up and being able to
Right.
find labor times. But there wasn't any schematics. There wasn't any locations. Like there wasn't, if it was there, it was hard to find.
No, no, for sure. So just on average, man, just your average ticket is 700. You know, you're going anywhere
Mhm.
from 10 cars a week or so. Now you're up to roughly, 18, 20 cars a week. I mean, that's a pretty sizable increase in revenue there. So that's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. So Shop Boss completely taking you from pen and paper to completely made you efficient. You're not losing track of receipts. You're able to charge the right amount. You're able to save time ordering parts. Like it's definitely helped out in profit per hour, like you mentioned too. Profit per hour, for those who don't know what that is you basically input your overhead into ShopBoss, and a lot of people what they go by when I talk to them, because I really like to gauge when I talk to people like how they're gauging profit. Most people, and it's not their fault, it's how most people are trained, and really they don't have much business training. But most people will say the only reason I'm not saying I do like I'm Jeff Bezos, no, but I know what our system does, and that's why I asked the question. But they say, yeah, it's what I made minus what it cost me, and that's what they gauge GP. So they take their GP and they're like, yeah, we're good. Well, actually, there's so much more to your business. There's your tools you're using, there's what you're paying guys, there's insurance, there's rent, there's utilities, there's for my mobile mechanics, right, how much you're spending on gas that they don't consider.
Hmm.
Like there's so many different things. So what it'll do is it'll tell you, if when you write up a ticket you have your GP number, but you also have your profit per hour. So is this truly making me my money so I can hit my profit target at the end of the month, for those who don't know what that is. So really key. So Nick, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on here, I know we did briefly touch on it, but really I want to dive into um just customer service, man. Like I know you've talked about like, your ability to talk to people, but really I think you said it yourself, like people, people you've talked to in the area, they might be hurting. I'm having conversations with a lot of techs, and one thing I can tell for sure is the people who are more friendly, more open, um will have a laugh with you. They seem to always be doing better than those who maybe aren't. So I guess a
Mm.
good question to ask is, how do you I think I know naturally you're a pretty positive guy, but how do you kind of compartmentalize the business side? I know things can be frustrating being a tech. You're working on something, you break something, anything can happen in the shop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you keep positive? How do you put yourself in a frame of mind, right, to give those customers that attention they need, so they keep coming back and maybe bring somebody else?
Um, Boy. So I mean, my attitude is usually just pretty positive, even out in the shop. I think for me, I actually enjoy working on cars, and
Mhm.
then you have that
That
feeling
helps.
of accomplishment, right? Like
Yeah.
you're helping somebody. I have quite a few customers that are you know struggling with their vehicles. They don't have a ton of money, and that feel good of being able to do it and actually help somebody. I think it makes me feel good, right? Like I'm not always making a ton of money off of my customers. But I think my positive outlook on this is that I'm building something for myself, and for my family, and this is kind of my happy place in here. And I go to a full-time job every day, and I'm still the
Mhm,
same guy when I'm there, but
mhm,
I don't see a point in, you know, being upset about much of anything.
mhm.
I don't know how well I'm answering your question, but
No, no, no. You're
you know,
absolutely, you're half full kind of guy, and you keep that energy all the way throughout completely. And a guy
yeah.
like you, you're working. What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? You got to be getting up real crazy hours and going. You must not
Yeah.
sleep at all, man. Honestly.
No, I live off of energy drinks, I think.
That was my next question, is how many Red Bulls are you on today? That was my next question. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
So
no, Red Bull's not my flavor. Liquid Death makes a really nice energy drink. I like those. Yeah.
what is that? That sounds brutal, man.
Oh,
No,
it's awesome. It
absolutely.
even says a better for you energy drink, and I seriously doubt it. But no,
What?
yeah. my
Liquid death.
my
Better for
yeah.
you, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it contradicts itself a little bit, I think. I don't really know. But that as far as when I wake up, it's usually 6 a.m. Get to work for 7, come back home. I'm done at 4. I get in here, Customers will be waiting for me around 4:30. They'll be dropping off a car, hanging around, and then it's just pretty much until I'm done. Tire season is
Mhm.
going to be insane. I've got, I don't know, I still haven't even added some of them to my schedule yet. The next 2 weeks are going to be all tires, which just offers an awesome opportunity to look over customers' cars, because you're really not doing them a service if you don't look at their car. That's kind of the,
Mhm.
like that I have. I'm not trying to sell people things, but I would like to, inform them. But then I probably wouldn't be done most of next week until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I think is when I
Mm.
would probably finish the last car, and then they'd pick them up in the morning, and just rinse and repeat.
Got it. Okay, so wife never sees you. Understood. Fair
No,
enough.
they yeah, they come out and visit. The shop's only, 20 feet from the house, so that works out pretty good.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. And so you actually earlier you were talking before we started this, and I like how it fits into this, but you were talking about the calendar, right? Scheduling your customers, right?
Mhm.
How's that been from where you were kind of before? What did that used to look like versus how are you able to handle that now, and how's that made your life better?
Oh, so scheduling before, we'll start with that, was done with my Google Calendar, and trying to
Mm,
balance that with personal life, because, well, I have 3 daughters. They all do sports, plays, and everything else that they do after school. Scheduling
yeah.
around that was, kind of a pain. And then knowing what the job, like how long the job would actually take. So you have your
Mhm.
build hours, and then trying to figure out how many cars can I cram in one night. Um, wouldn't really know, because you're penciling everything in on a piece of paper, then
Right.
transferring it to your phone, and then asking the wife, "What do we got going on Thursday?" Because I might have
Yeah.
3 or 4 cars that night, and
Yep.
trying to balance all of that. So what this actually did is, now when I'm writing up a customer quote, send that off to them, and then ask them what day works for you. I can then, right from the repair order, go send the calendar, and then look at my schedule and be like, okay, well, I have this available. I already have a car scheduled. That scheduled, like, build hours is, 2.5 hours. So now I can look at
Mm,
that schedule and go, okay, so we can add you at 6, and I should be done around, 9 or 10 o'clock. So it kind of has like little building blocks where I can see exactly what my night's going to look like and how much time I need it. And that's actually a feature I just started figuring out how to use. Like, I just do a lot
mm.
of playing around with the system, and that has changed, and again, shortened things up, where I'm going from pen and paper, then to my phone, and then actually getting the work in the door. It's
Yeah.
like I said, everything is on this one little tablet, and I love it. It's
Yeah.
it has made life easier.
No, I love to hear that, man. And that's one of the biggest things we like to tell people: is shop bosses shop in a box. Every time I hear somebody say that, I will admit I cringe a little bit, but actually, that is what it is. It's supposed to be. I'm like, oh, it's like one of those marketing things where you're like, you know what? Actually, when you think about it,
It is.
it's pretty good, man. It's a little shop in a box. But yeah, so you're able to have pretty much everything in one spot. A lot of things, and you mentioned it just a second ago, like you just kind of recently figured out how to learn that. One thing I
Mhm.
will say, anyone listening to this, reach out to me, man. Like, hey, there might be stuff that you might not even know about that's in there now. Like, are you using the follow up feature for like review requests and stuff?
No, but I do know about it. I do know about that. That was part of
Do that,
the
brother. Get
training.
those Google
So,
reviews. Yeah,
yeah, so that's
yeah.
actually, when you bring that up, the amount of training that I got with the system, and the support of being able to be like, well, just give me a call if you have any questions. It's a lot of times I'll play around with it, and then I learn something. It's like, well, I don't need to call anymore because I
That's how
figured
a
it
lot
out.
of guys learn. Yeah,
It's
in
pretty
this
simple to
sector,
use.
a lot of guys
Yeah.
learn that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just,
It,
I've been so busy with the shop that, you go through and you find a new little tool. It's like, well, that just made life so much easier. And
yeah,
like the
yeah.
like the inspections, jeez, the inspections that you can do with this thing, and the checklists,
Oh,
and
you're
the
using that
customer.
inspection then. Okay.
Yeah,
How's
the
that helped you
DBI
out? Yeah.
that has been, actually has been helping my tickets, because you go through and you see it.
I
It
like that.
basically reminds you to check these things that you may have, like, just breezed over, but that list will go through and tell you pretty much everything to check. Even if the car doesn't have it, you just kind of go by that. It doesn't tell the customer that you didn't look at it. It just doesn't pop up on the ticket because the car doesn't have it. So, and then you go through and you give them a checklist, and then I can make quotes right from that thing, send that off to my customer, and they approve, decline, and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea that was wrong with my car." It's like, well, I didn't either, but like I had a
Yeah.
list to follow, and it's now there's no
You know, you check.
guessing, and it's everything's just kind of streamlined with that thing. That was I offer that a lot now, especially just for like simple oil changes. A car comes in for an oil change, but like, do you want just the basic inspection done on your vehicle? Only takes me about 25-30 minutes to go through it, and
Yeah.
you've just upsold an inspection, but at the same time, man, I get like you're checking brakes, ball joints, fluids, I mean everything. You're going through lights, and it really streamlined that part because there's
Oh,
parts and pieces
100%.
that you miss. As a
Yeah.
mechanic, you're busy, and you just want to get that car
100%.
in and out, and being paid for your time is huge.
Absolutely. And we actually have a for shops coming from other softwares over to Shop Boss, that inspection tool, that's one of our biggest value props that a lot of shops don't actually take advantage of. We actually have a guarantee. It's a growth guarantee. It's on our website. It might be called Garage Guarantee. They've changed
Mhm.
the framing of that a few times, but it's the same thing. Where you have 90 days, give us 90 days. We'll guarantee an increase of your average ticket by 20%, provided you use that on half your tickets, right? So it's a great way of upselling work. And this is something that I talk to a lot of people about is, and you actually said it a little bit too. I don't know if you heard it, but some people, they feel like they know their customers. They know that their customers are, maybe they're hurt a little bit. So it's kind of in this weird situation where it's like, you're trying to make money helping them,
Mhm.
but they're in a bad spot. How do I get over this mental hurdle of me telling them it's going to be an extra something for this that they actually really do need?
Mhm.
Um, but I know they might be in a tough spot. Like that's like one of the more, I would imagine, uncomfortable conversations that you can have, where it's like, their car ain't going to make it another 50 miles if they don't get this, but
Right.
they're also really kind of, they're trying to squeeze you for every dime. So I mean, how do you manage? How do you handle those conversations, man? That'd be a good thing to
Oh,
learn
the
from you.
so those types of conversations, if I find a list of things wrong with their car, I try to look at it from their standpoint of like, I don't have a ton of money to sink into this car. Is Well, let's prioritize some things here. Like, I know that
Mm,
money's tight. Like,
okay,
you need brakes really bad.
okay,
Your rear ones are completely smoked. They're grinding. We can't get away with just pads on this thing. And then it's also, they got a leaking strut, or they've got
right,
a bushing that's bad, or anything like that. It's like, let's take care of the biggest safety issues right now.
yeah,
Let's tackle those brakes, because if you can't stop, like, that's a problem, right? So
yeah,
those bushings aren't going to go anywhere. Let's next week, let's look at it next week. Like, we'll schedule you in to get that done. Like, they already have the cost of everything, and they can kind of budget for it. That's how I do this a lot with a lot of customers. Is let's make a priority list, right? Like, we have the list already. Let's just axe this one, put that one in the back burners for now. We'll do this one, but then these other two, we're gonna chip away at these things. And I have actually a customer coming tonight. After this is that exact situation where we had knocked out a couple things, and one of those things I said we had to get to is now becoming an issue, and now we're attacking that tonight. So that's
I like that.
that
It's very customer
financial.
centric.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that
I like
that
that.
that financial burden is, I can appreciate that, and that's why I work with my customers so much on that. Um,
Hmm.
and being able to backtrack into what they need, what they had done, that's been helpful, because we can also look back at their history and say, yeah, we already did this. We know that's good. We can pull this one back in, and we can do that, and we'll schedule it right now. And the prices and everything is already there. That's how that's how it's helped them too, is that they receive everything, and they know what they're looking for. And I also can see it from my side. It's actually been, my
That's
customers
good.
they love that approach, and that I'm not there just as
They can
grab
trust
money
you.
out of their pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly. They
and
trust you.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
And that
that's
that that is definitely, I mean, even myself, like, now I've got a newer car with like some service packages and warranty on it, so I just kind of take it to the dealership. But
Yep.
before, I would always be like really hesitant to. It's like, for example, I had a tire go out on me on the highway. We're going to some vacation. We were stranded, man. And me being a soft hands doughy boy, absolutely, dude, I freaking threaded the shit out of those lug nuts. And
Yeah, boy.
I was like, yeah, bro, trust me, man, that was not a proud moment with the wife, dude. She was like, seriously? I'm like, I'm trying, girl. Let me freaking try this. Anyway, had to get it towed, had a bunch of issues on it, man. So it wasn't just that. And then I'm like, man, I don't know. Like these guys, I feel like they're just taking advantage of me here, man, because it's like an hour away from where I live. It's in the middle of nowhere. They know I don't have a car. Like they know that I'm hurting. They know I'll
Yeah,
pay
they got you
anything to get
pinned.
my car back. Exactly.
Yep.
And it's like just fine. I'll take whatever it is. It is, but I felt so
Hey,
bad about that. I'm like, I know they did so. I know they got me, but
yeah.
is what it is. But I was going to ask you about do you offer financing to your customers at all?
So I can with the 360 payments. I actually got to call them back, um, which I would love to have. I just haven't had time to
Yeah,
call them back. But
yeah, no
it is an
problem.
option
Yeah,
that I need to get on top of. Where and you can send it to them and they just apply for a credit line, and which would
yeah,
help. I mean, so many of my customers where, if that bill was $1,200, it's almost like, that care credit you get for your pet. Like, you can't afford it right now, but if I can make installments on it,
yeah.
yeah, I actually have a voicemail from one of the 360
No
payment
worries.
people.
I'll give him. I'll
Yeah,
have him give you a shout and set that up because that would
yeah,
definitely help out in those situations. As just
hmm
like like, hey, by the way, we could do it this way, or we have a plan B. You know, if you want
hmm
to go that route. You know,
yep,
and that's definitely helpful. But no, I think honestly the way you handle it, man, just I can tell personality wise, genuine. You come at your customers with that approach. Um, they obviously trust you. They obviously like you. Um, and they'll work with you, man. They'll work with you.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you got to try out some of those other stuff too that we were talking about. So we'll get there. We'll get to that point where we'll jump into like the CRM management and being able to send out service specials and stuff like that. Because if you have I mean, a lot of guys they would kill to have like a customer base that loves them because
Yeah,
then you can market to them, which is
right.
great, right?
Yep.
Which is great. So we'll get you there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, absolutely. Before we wrap up, anything else you want to touch on? Anything you wanted to hit on? Anything that we didn't talk about? You'd like to discuss or anything like that?
No, I mean, if if we're praising shop boss, we're gonna need more time. But because I mean, it literally, and that's like I'm not being paid for this. It has changed the entire dynamic of my shop. Literally lifted a ton of stress, and again, I brag to it. Like I bring this tablet into my wife, and I show her stuff. I'm like, look at this. Like, this isn't a feature that I had before the tablet.
And
Like this is.
she's like, Nick, I do not care.
I don't
I
care.
don't care.
Yeah, she'll sit there and just nod her head and be like, "Wow,
Oh
that's
yeah,
really cool,
okay.
babe." Like, I have no idea
Yeah,
what you're talking about. It's like, no,
yeah,
this is really cool. Like, you should. I wish you understood. Like, in
yeah.
my 13-year-old actually knows how to run the system where she can write up a repair order. She can order parts
No
for me.
way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've got her in training. She's gonna be my service writer.
There you go, man. There you go.
Yeah,
You're set up, man. You got a whole shop in there. Just you got to tap into the potential.
that's
Absolutely,
that's right. I've
absolutely.
got free labor sitting right inside that house. That
I was gonna say. I was gonna say.
yeah,
No, it reminds me. It's like you go and showing your wife the tablet and everything. It's like it always reminds me of like when I'm doing something and she's got like like one of those TV shows on like Love is Blind or you know what I'm talking about? Like those reality
yeah,
TV shows. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sitting there like doing my own thing, like, you're watching that so stupid. And I'm like,
Wait a minute. I do
wait,
this to her all the time.
wait. Yeah, and then I'm watching, I'm like, wait, she said that? Oh my, what? No,
Oh yeah.
I'm not interested
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Wait,
you get
that's
sucked
how you
in.
responded? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Then all of a sudden I'm in it. That's how it's going to be with Shop Boss. Okay. Little by little.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's how easy it is to write up an RO. That's how
Yeah,
you do an inspection.
I'm gonna win her. I swear I'm gonna win her over with it.
just put some girl stuff in the lounge like we were talking
Yeah,
about earlier in this, and then you're
yeah,
good to. Dude, you have 3 daughters and a wife, man. That should be pink in there. Okay. That should
yeah.
be
I'm surprised they haven't been in here to decorate. You know, it's it's just
dude.
me. I got my motorcycles in here right now because it's cold in Vermont. We can't ride bikes right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, dude, like I mean, is it like a minimalist man, like when like a man cave where it's all minimalist, or do you have? Is it you got a lot of stuff in there?
Oh, no, originally it was just a couple TVs. We watched football out here, and then now it's got 2 couches, a reclining chair, a mini fridge with waters in it for the customers. It's turned
Oh,
into
dude,
a
it's a
little waiting
proper
room.
little lounge then,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it
Right
is.
on.
Yeah,
You're getting
yeah.
dealership experience over there.
It's
Okay,
got free Wi-Fi. We bumped it
I
up a little
love it,
bit over here.
dude. That is awesome, Nick. That is awesome. Well, hey, man, definitely appreciate hanging out. Anything you need, anytime, you can hit me up and I'll help you out. And appreciate everybody else. If you'd be willing to jump into a demo with myself, by all means, toggle that yes button down there. And until next time, we've got our very first, I believe the next guest will be our very first female shop owner that we're going to be having on the show, which will be a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun. And I think it'll be around Mother's Day, actually, which would be awesome.
Yeah,
Coming up, we got to take care of mama. We got to take care of
yeah.
mama. Absolutely. So appreciate y'all. Until next time. Thank you, Nick. Talk
All
soon.
right, Carter. Thank you, bud.
Mhm.